Ladies and gentlemen, this is a test of your audio operating system. If you can hear me, can I get a hell yeah? If you can't hear me, can I get a hell no? Starting at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's in 3 minutes. Get your phone calls in right now, 401-213-9828. Leave a voicemail at 401-213-9828. A lot of hell yeahs in there. Oz is in the house. The sheriff. Is it too loud, too clear, or just loud and just clear enough? Thanks for joining this 10-hour live stream. We'll be going till 2 a.m. tomorrow. Just kidding. It was a joke. Wisconsin's in the house. I don't have tea, but I have iced coffee. I've got iced coffee for you guys. I'll be giving an update on my license plates, or lack thereof, if you've been following my Instagram. And don't forget to hit the like button. Bump your Chris Harrison on the tip of that like button. It'll help others find us. We don't want too many people, though. Just gently hit it. Monday night's live stream hit over 300 viewers at one time. So thank you guys so much for that. I can only imagine hitting that like button has helped. Starting in 1 minute. See if we can start with a good song. Yeah, okay, I like this energy. Haha, let's do it, everybody. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? More ladies than gentlemen. Statistically, about 90% of you are ladies, but the gentlemen are holding down the court. We don't need no excuse to watch Bachelor. Thank you guys for checking out my live stream. It's your boy, Dave Neal. And boy, are we grooving. We're ready to do this. Cheers to you guys. Happy Thursday. Are we thirsty? Let's just rearrange some graphics over here. This feels like, I can't tell if this is grooving music or porn music. Which one is this? Move myself. Look at that, just slide over. Alrighty. I know Wisconsin's in the house. Lisa Reed of Colorado is in the house. The first live stream from the Dominican Republic. Let's see if we can pronounce this name. Arieta? Is it Arieta? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome from the DR. From the island of Hispaniola. Is the Dominican the north or the southern part of the island? I'm going to go ahead and say it's the northern part and Haiti's on the southern part, because I think Haiti gets hit harder with hurricanes. Is that right? I'm not going to fact check that. I've lost 3 followers in the continent of Africa today. A very angry Nigerian and a very disappointed Zimbabwean. Nikki says, you keep pushing content out like this, you're going to have no problem getting to 20K real quick. Well, you know, the last couple days, yesterday and today's a little slower. We had a crazy day Tuesday, but I'm just trying to keep the fire going. You guys know what I mean? I'm just trying to keep some logs burning on that fire, and you guys keep showing up, and I appreciate y'all so very much for that. Huge drama with Rachel going off, Summer Bailey says. We'll get into a little bit about that. Just a little bit. Summer said Rachel with propaganda at a racist frat formal. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Very small font. Let me read that again. Rachel with photographs at a racist frat formal. Let me look into these photographs because I don't know if it's the ones we've seen with the Confederate flag. Rachel Kirkconnell frat photo. I don't know. Is this something new? Because I've already seen the Confederate photo. She's not in it. She just liked it. It's a whole different issue. Summer says it's popping off on Reddit. Oh, boy. Did we have a whole thing happening on Reddit and it wasn't even in my plans? You know, I've just been over here doing work, trying to piece things together. If you guys follow my Instagram, it's right there, D Neals. Yesterday, I'll tell the story if you didn't hear. It doesn't necessarily have a happy ending yet, but it's on the way. It's okay. I know we're all trying to survive this world we live in. So I'm walking the dog, and I live in a neighborhood where very often you get a ticket, or you get like, you know, someone will leave a brochure. But what's really funny about my car, I have a very humble 2004 Toyota Matrix. I love my car. It runs great. It's pumping it out at 150,000 miles or whatever. You know, the check engine light's on, which means it's in business. It's ready to go. So as you guys might know, I've had my car battery stolen 3 times in the last couple of years. They steal it randomly. So what I've been doing is taking it out of the car, hiding it, and that way someone can't steal it, and then I put it back in when I need my car. It's a pain in the ass. I'm moving in 3 weeks. I'm just dealing with it. I don't live in a bad street. Like, I can look out the window and see the Hollywood sign, but I do live in what is considered, like, disputed gang territory or something like that. There's been cars that do the donuts. Just think of Fast and Furious. They've just been living in my neighborhood. We don't know why. So I go to my car as I'm walking the dog, and I see this big pamphlet. And I go, that's not a ticket. Those tickets are usually the small ones they print off and they buzz off. No, it's kind of bigger. So I go, oh, that must be a pamphlet. I go up to my car. I get to the ticket. I read it. $73 ticket. Whatever. You know what I mean? You're going to get tickets living in the city. But I'm like, why did I get a ticket? I haven't done anything wrong. I read the ticket and it says, I don't have my license plates. So then I walk backwards to see my car. And sure enough, my license plates are gone. No license plates on my car. Someone stole my license plates. And what's worse than a $73 ticket is now I got to go to the DMV. If you've never been to the DMV in Hollywood, why would you have? Let me tell you something. It is a lot of characters. I'm going to be Instagramming updates from the DMV tomorrow as I go. I got to go tomorrow. This happened yesterday. So I notice I got a ticket. My license plates are missing. I go around the corner, and my passenger door is kicked in, and there's almost a cartoonishly sized footprint. And I'm going like, what kind of a-hole leaves his footprint? He's just taunting me at this point. I've had other door handles broken off because when the batteries were stolen, you go to open your car thinking it's going to open, and it doesn't. And I'm not that strong of a guy. I'm normal strength, but I've literally ripped my door handles off after my car battery's been stolen because I thought it would, open the car. What? You know. Anyway, so I just get this sent to me. I don't even have this prepared, so I'm just going to show you guys this old school way. A friend of mine who lives up the road just said that there's a guy that everyone's looking for. Let me find it. I mean, you're not going to be able to see it. But she sent a photo of this guy, and he's been kicking doors in. Tasha's calling me. Let's see what Tasha has to say. Hold on one second, folks. Hello, how are you? Good, I got you on the live. That's why I'm talking like this.
Oh, live streaming. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even have the Bluetooth set up, but I just saw you were calling, so I figured you might be on your way home.
Yeah, I am on my way home, and it's not important, so I don't need to be on the live stream. I was going to ask you about whether or not you went to the grocery.
I haven't gone to the grocery store, but I do plan on going. I got to the pinnacle of my license plate debacle I was sharing. I think it's getting funny. I think the license plate stories.
Did you see what I texted you?
I just showed everybody we have a perpetrator on the loose, folks.
Yeah. Annie sent it to me, and then I opened my email, and it was the first email from expert.
So should I be looking for this guy and just try to get my license plates the old-fashioned way with some elbow grease and some charm?
But do we think that the car kicker is the same guy as the license plate guy? I don't know.
Oh, that's the question. Yeah, we have so much violence.
You know what I mean?
We don't even know if...
The license plate. There was a post on Nextdoor a couple weeks ago, and I keep meaning to look it up. I haven't done it yet, but there was a post a couple weeks ago about stolen license plate. I don't think it has like a photo. I don't think anybody's witnessed it. I think it was just another person like you who came out to their car and saw they had no license.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't, because I'm having a hard, it's not a great connection. Why don't you come fill me in when you get over here, and then I'm going to give this the old college.
I haven't looked it up.
What's that?
I haven't looked it up.
No, I just said you could fill me in on everything when you get in here, live in the flesh. Everyone wants to see you.
I might need a nap instead.
You might need a nap? Okay, people can respect that if Tasha needs a nap. Everyone, Tasha needs a nap. We had an early morning, folks. I haven't gotten into that story yet, but... well, come on over, and then I'll be on my way done.
Okay.
Think of what you want for dinner. Maybe we get the walkout. Who knows? It's anyone's game.
All right, sounds good.
Love you. I'll see you soon. Drive safely.
All right. Will do. Love you.
Okay, bye. Alrighty, there it is, folks. Tasha Marie Courtney calling in. She doesn't follow my live stream schedule. Anyhow, folks, that's pretty much the extent of the story. Thank you, B-Bean. I will wear my mask. I actually don't mind the DMV, especially since I just got a new iPhone. I got the iPhone 12. This is the 7. I got the old 7. I haven't set up the other phone, but I do look forward to. I have enough to do while in line at the DMV that I think it'll be not too big. Knock on wood. Who knows how it's going to be, but I think I'll be okay. But thank you guys for asking. Oz said he kicked out a troll. Now, just out of curiosity, Oz, is it the same troll? Is it boxed? Was that the troll? Because I see it says message retracted. And am I dealing with... I wonder if this is the same troll. I mean, setting up a new YouTube channel just to troll someone is exhausting. This guy has like 5 different channels. Part of me wants to Skype him just to see what he looks like so I can put a face to the troll. Allison Bell says, how did Tasha first get into modeling? That's a good question. Tasha got into Tasha was like a baby model, so I don't think she actually got into it. I think professionally she was working in New York City and they scooped her up. Thank you, Oz. I mean, I didn't want to necessarily spend the money on the 12, but I had a couple of gift certificates, and I'm upgrading by 5 levels, so I feel like I needed to go straight up to the 12, I don't know. All right, folks. So anyway, we'll get into it. I just pulled up Reddit over here. I don't want to show you guys my Reddit because it's just going to be a bunch of nude photo. Reddit's just vile. I've already accidentally, flashed Jade's tatas to the world. So let's see if we can figure out what this Rachel issue is, this new issue. And if anyone has any information on it. Okay, I think I found it. So let's jump over here. Let's see if we can pull this up here. So I haven't looked at this at all. Let's go to the full image here. It says, in 2018, Rachel attended the Kappa Alpha Order Old South Formal, an antebellum plantation-themed ball. Now, as we know, I'm going to read this and learn about it as you guys do. So if I say something completely ignorant, well, first of all, I apologize, but I think we're better off having the discussion than not. So Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A this year because apparently antebellum might be kind of racist. I don't even know what define antebellum. So let's get into this. I don't even know what antebellum is. Occurring or existing before a particular war, especially the American Civil War. So antebellum was a time period. Is that what they're saying? Let's see. The antebellum South was a period in the history of the southern U.S. from the late 18th century until the start of the Civil War. Okay, so this was a pro-slave sort of time. I mean, anything that has to deal with the South before the Civil War is it's intertwined with slavery. So they've blotted out some of these other girls. I actually am uniquely qualified to talk about formals as I was social chair in a fraternity. But that was in New England, where we didn't have antebellum themed. I don't recall anyone ever doing blackface or things like that. I think we were more interested in trying to have, fun times. Okay. So this is it. This is the photo everyone's talking about. So the question is now, Rachel Kirkconnell, how do I spell her name? Connell, hometown. I've been talking about this with other people. She's from Cumming, Georgia. Not going to make any jokes there. She attended Georgia College and State University, where she made the Dean's List twice. Now, let's look at the history of Cumming, Georgia. History of Cumming, Georgia. And I say this because I think for us to not acknowledge that there's a big problem in history with racism doesn't factor in, and this isn't me being, apologizing for Rachel, but the fact that she's from Georgia and the fact that she's from a county that was segregated, probably not in her lifetime, but not too long ago. Is it crazy to think that there'd be a antebellum themed ball? Leave a comment. Feel free to call. Oh, I don't have the voicemail up here. Hold on. There it is. I'm getting so much better at operating this, guys. Not to pat myself on the back here, but let's get into some of these questions here. TJC said, same with Dixie Chicks and Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede. But Dixie refers to Mason-Dixon line, so I don't really understand what is wrong with the word Dixie, but I hope to learn. Wasn't it funny how the Dixie Chicks were like blackballed from country music because they didn't support the war in Iraq? Wasn't that funny? Wasn't that crazy? A lot going on in the country music world these days. There was an up-and-coming country musician who said the N-word, and he's been kicked off of all local radio stations or national radio stations, and I think that's a good starting point to send a message. I'm not saying, I'm not talking about canceling someone for life, but I think it's good for country music in the South to acknowledge, like, hard lines on what not to do. You know what I mean? But go back to this photo, does attending an antebellum-themed ball, let's read some comments. Let's do this. I'm going to go to the comments, and we're going to go to the top comments, and we're going to see what this is all about. We're learning here, folks. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of issues. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have you guys pulled up. Here you are. D Fish says, my daughter's car was blown up in Koreatown. I am not surprised. It is a rough area where I live. So the top comments, let's see what people are saying about this 2018. By the way, she attended this only 2 years ago. I guess that was 3 years ago. Boy, she's so young. I graduated college in like 1945 or something. 2007, but still. All right, let's see what they say here. Top comments. Man, this isn't even casually racist. It's formal racist. Well, that's a funny joke. That's a funny joke because it's out of formal. I get it. The dress code is white tie, if you will. White hood preferred. It's legit violently racist. Damn, the posts keep coming up and they don't stop coming. Reality Steve is still denying that she's racist because there's no proof. Well, again, first of all, talk to me in the comment section, guys. Walk me through this again. What? Okay, I just don't know Old South. I don't know what antebellum plantation themed ball is. Was it common? Is antebellum themed ball common in the South? You know what I mean? I know nothing about this. Here's a question. This was from 2013. Boy, this is tiny font. In many circles, again, we're on a chat board here, so who knows if this is accurate. In many circles, the antebellum South is revered as an honor culture with a rigorously enforced social code of propriety and individual status. This is a society where public insult is met with a challenge to fight a duel. What? Where real or perceived slights are met with swift retribution. The opposite, pluralistic modernity. What is this? Is there another thing here? This is the problem when I don't have anything prepared. I'd love to hear from anyone. Is anyone familiar with antebellum-themed events in the South? I mean, plantations, like, to put it into context, just by saying plantation isn't inherently racist. I'm from a state called Rhode Island in Providence Plantation. It's the smallest state with the longest name. That's the actual name. Apparently, this past year, they filed to remove the Providence Plantation from the state because it doesn't sound great. I agree. But the question is it inherently racist to go to an antebellum plantation-themed ball? And I think if you answer that question, then you have to wonder, was it part of the culture? Because do you expect an 18 to 20-year-old student to, like, not go to their formal because they don't know what they're doing is racist? Not apologizing for it, folks. What we're doing here is talking it out, which a lot of people have a problem with. And the way that I see it, to not get in trouble, is to have the conversation versus making a quick and solid point of view. I don't have a point of view. It ain't look good. Nikki says, we live in a cancel culture. They're digging for any reason to not like her. I don't know about you, but I know way more about the world now than I did 3 years ago. Amen, Nikki. And this is what I was saying about Rachel, and this is why it's much easier to talk about this versus type it. Because if I were to type this in Reddit, I'd be blown to pieces. But not in a good way, not in a fantasy suite way, if you know what I mean. Hey now, folks. But it is a juicy storyline for sure to think that a black bachelor ends up with someone who has a racist past. There are screen grabs of Rachel defending Black Lives Matter. Could it be that somebody isn't racist but is a part of a history of racism within their community? Could that be something that is true? I've mentioned this before. Coming from just a blue-collar town in Rhode Island, the word Jew was thrown around all the time. The R word, the F word, the N word, any word you could think of was thrown around, especially working in a blue-collar job that I did. Absolutely. Absolutely. Laura, see, but here we go. And again, please keep it polite in the comment section. Laura Vasquez said, you didn't know slavery was bad 3 years ago? Geez. No, Laura. This is more complicated than taking a hard stance. Let's operate with the same common denominator that we know slavery is one of the worst stains on our country's history. People said she lived in a very, very racist town. Absolutely. Liz Sky says, I'm a person of color. I'm so sick of cancel culture. Lee Pittman, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I feel like it's not that deep. It's a college girl going to a formal. She was probably more worried about how she looked, not what it meant. Very interesting, Lee. Very interesting. Kimberly Chow, this feels like it's going to be another Becca and Garrett situation again if Rachel wins. Katie said, I'm just a year or so younger than her. She's an adult with the resources to educate herself. Hopefully she does so now. You know, I agree with you that you have the resources to educate yourself, but also, and this is where it's important to remember, you don't know what you don't know. So while it's easy to say, I know something so someone else should, there's people, and again, there are people that lived in some fear. I mean, there are people that have come out of the Westboro Baptist Church that thought they were saving people by holding up signs that said, God hates fags. And they got on Twitter, did their work, and eventually found out, oh my gosh, I was wrong. What did I do? What was I a part of? But when you're trying to be, just survive within a group setting, it's incredible what you may convince yourself is right versus wrong. Laura said, it's not just a dance, it's a plantation slavery cosplay. I don't know this or not, Laura. I'm looking at this for the first time. So all I see in this photo so far, we'll get into it. All I see here is what looks like a debutante, I don't know. I have no other info. So I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm also not gonna take a side here either. MS, I'm a firm believer in if I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say it. So if the Westboro Baptist Church had signs that said that, I kind of come from the Louis C.K. school of, look, if I say F word that makes you, using language, have to think what F stands for. So now I'm forcing you to say it in your head. Very complicated stuff when you talk about words. Very complicated. To not use them recklessly, but understand that words are a way of communicating. I know this sounds very basic, guys, but as a stand-up comic, I think very much about words. I think about how they're used. I think about their intentions over what the word is. Do you know what I mean? Calling someone a flippin' chick is way worse than being like, oh, my chick's home. You know what I mean? Keep it in mind. Keep in mind critical thinking in context, folks. Now, I'm not saying this photo's right. I'm just saying, what am I supposed to do with it? You know? We looked up Cumming. Where's Cumming? That's the Antebellum South. Cumming, Georgia. This is the town she's from. It's in Forsyth County. Let's click on Forsyth County. Forsyth County is a county in the north central portion of the U.S. state of Georgia. Lies within. Let's just see if there's anything about racism in here, because I'm trying to get to. While Forsyth resident Charles Blackburn wanted to have a Brotherhood March to celebrate the first annual celebration of national holiday MLK Jr. Day, he wanted to dispel the racist image of Forsyth County, where he owned and operated a private school. So there was a racist image of Forsyth County. Let me just search that. Forsyth County racism. I said country. County. Got to get a new producer here because I explained. So look, I mean, this was just from several months ago. It was all white. Forsyth County forced its black residents out and stayed nearly all white for 75 years. This was in 1912. A lynching started it all. I don't need to read further into this. I think the point's proven. This is not the place you want to raise somebody if your goal is to be accepting of all. This is an example of our country and where it stands today, recovering, burning embers from a dark, dark past. You know? So while she's from there, what's more likely? That Rachel was raised completely woke? And again, woke shouldn't be the term to describe wanting equality. But what's more likely, that or that she was raised with uncles, aunts, moms, siblings, co-workers that saw other races as less than? MS says, yeah, but we also live in the age of information. I understand that she didn't know better, but I think that she did have the access to research. But I mean, honestly, and yeah, but like I say, you don't know what you don't know. Was she doing research as a high schooler to see if she was in a racist town, or was she ingrained into a system that was racist? These are questions you have to ask. Don't just comment and say, yeah, but there's the internet, so everyone should know. As humans, we have to just be very careful as we think about this and know that we still live in a country where these problems exist. While this might not be the greatest solution for Matt James and Rachel if they do end up together, this is a good example of where we are in our country. Tasha's home. Rachel has a photo of her at a antebellum themed ball in college. So sorry? Yes, Tasha goes, yep. Tasha's from Northern Kentucky, which is pretty neutral. You're not below the Mason-Dixon line, right? Yeah, right. Tasha's not from below the Mason-Dixon line. But so antebellum wouldn't have meant anything to you. Very interesting. So some people in the comment section are saying she should have known better, and I'm saying Forsyth County drove out black people for 75 years, the town that Rachel's from. Yeah, I mean, this is it, folks. This is an example of a county within the United States. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's a House of Congress member who thinks that the Jewish have laser beams in the desert. In Georgia, baby! So I think what needs to happen is we put more energy into the positives happening in Georgia than the negatives. The Stacey Abrams, the people in Georgia that are voting for equality and getting more voices in government. I think that's what you need to do. Not look at the past, learn from the past, but look to the present and the future, which is pretty positive. Lesia said, and to your, okay, let me read some comments here because Tasha just came in. Whose comment do I need to read? Anna said, after all, she went on a show to date a black guy on national television, so I'm sure she's very woke now if she wasn't before. And Katie says, I'm sure they will interview her on Bachelor. Yeah, the best thing she can do is admit she came from a place of ignorance. You know, liking a photo in front of the Confederate flag. Jesus Christ. Just had a horrible Freudian slip. Tama said, if the rumors are true about Matt's mom being a Trump supporter, and then, of course, this info about Rachel, then Matt might not care. Well, look. I'm not going to go into this shaming of people that were Trump supporters because I think it serves the same point, folks, when it comes to you don't know what you don't know. If you live in a part of the country where everyone's a Trump supporter, I've got family in those parts of the country. Do I think they lack critical thinking skills in certain ways and ability to dissect media? Yeah, absolutely. But do I think they're bad people? No. Nope. Jess said for her part, she probably threw on a big poofy dress, did her hair, and went and didn't think too much either way about it. She should have. I can just see Matt being a racist apologist for her, and really it makes me feel sick. Bachelor Nation should never have cast her. It kind of feels like I'm talking and no one's changing their point of view, which I totally get. Because I'm not apologizing for, but I'm saying let's not rush to judgment, and people are already calling Matt a racist apologist. Katie said, part of this problem is rosy history. Rosy history? American Daughters of Confederate launched campaigns to portray Confederacy as heroes, romanticize antebellum South. This material still in Southern schools. Absolutely. Very smart, Katie. So it's easy to control people's minds with simple propaganda. And the propaganda was that the Confederate is a lifestyle. And that propaganda, I mean, you could see that on... Dukes of Hazzard, So the propaganda is there. Now the question is, are we going to judge people who consume propaganda in a world, we're talking the last, decades since the Civil War. Are we going to judge the consumers of propaganda? It's kind of like how, when we talk about Brittany versus Anna, are we going to get mad at Anna or are we going to get mad at Bachelor for editing this slop together and showing it to us? It's the people that push the propaganda that we should be more upset at, not about the, the podunk person from, whatever that Forsyth County in Georgia who gets their news from one source and that's it. Summer Bailey says, "Hey, Tasha." If anyone posts Tasha in all caps, I'll yell at Tasha till she gets on the show. We're at 298 viewers. Please hit the like button. It helps us have these complicated conversations and shows us to more people. Susan Rich, how are you, Susan? Says there are plantation. By the way, Susan's from the Northwest. That's about as politically, I don't want to say correct as a negative word, but very woke people in the Northwest. Susan says there are plantation tours all over the place, and they have a romanticized idea of the era based on the dresses, manners, etc. Someone had said, "Hey, Tasha!" So I told them if they type your name in capitals, I'm just going to yell, "Hey, Tasha." So, "Hey, Tasha, Tasha, Tasha." There's 3. All right, that's enough of that, folks. There was a Chicks in the Office interview with Matt the other day where he said something to the effect of Tyler falls for someone. Yeah, Tasha! It'll be very interesting to see who Tyler falls for. I've been saying this would be a great idea to bring one of your buddies on the show and potentially have it so that... we just got a Christmas card? Who's it from? We just got a Christmas card, and I guess it's February. Hey, I'm not going to judge you. I won't judge you. Appreciate the card. Is it for 2020 or 2021? What year is it for? We just got a late Christmas card or a very early Christmas card. XOXOXOXOXC said, I wonder what Matt is thinking when all the information came out about her. Made his whole... Well, I tell you what Matt's thinking. He's thinking I fell in love with someone who didn't seem racist. If that's the case. MS said, I feel like it might be Kit that Tyler falls for because he's been speaking so highly of her lately. You know, that would be a great thing for Kit. I'm going to get out of this picture here. That would be a great thing for Kit. I don't mean to end the previous conversation. Let me see if there's any comments that brought up something uniquely different, because it feels like most of us are have the information we have at this point. The rest would just be like hypotheticals. Allison said, unfortunately, there are many towns that still think that way. I live in St. Louis, and the minute you drive out to Nowhere Land, Missouri, there are Confederate flags everywhere. Allison, I have family outside of St. Louis. I totally get it. I have family in St. Louis. I have family out St. Louis. And let me tell you something. Some of my family outside of St. Louis are good people. I don't mean some, like some are good people. They're good people. They just drink something that's different than what someone else drinks, and that's the information they have. And it's very easy when someone knows what they know to start asking questions and look at different media and wondering, follow the money and this and that. But at some point, ignorance is not an excuse of the law, but I think our country needs more compassion for people that haven't crossed over yet. I think we do. What's the alternative? What's the alternative than to have compassion? Because throwing a fit hasn't changed anyone's mind for a long time. So you gotta know when you're in a pissing match and get out. $288 viewers. Thank you guys so much. Jess said, you chilled me out. I remembered that I went to college in Kentucky and know these people and how they grew up. My mind may not be changed, but I'm much calmer. You mean I chilled you out? I was just yelling. I was like, I'm surprised I chilled anyone out. Yeah, when the Covington Catholic kid happened, Tasha and I actually went to a wedding that year in Covington. And, you forget where you are because it was a beautiful city. It's right outside of Cincinnati. But we're in Covington. This is like 2 years ago. And R. Kelly comes on at the wedding, and I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be dancing to this. But no one cared because that's just where they are. You know what I mean? And that's nothing against them or anyone else. So we just need to back the F up from our pedestal and know that not everybody is there yet. So what are we going to do as a team, as United States of America? Are we going to wait and help pull them up to us? Or are we going to kick them for not getting up to us sooner? Sometimes I lose my dang mind thinking at how much farther along we could come if our country was run by teachers. If our country was run by educators. People that could talk to others and not just look down on them. Big problem with my people on the left. Hollywood, of course. Very condescending. Absolutely. We need to understand other people aren't better or worse. We're all just at different levels of where we want to be. All right. Really ranting here. Lauren said they don't teach how bad it was back in school. They just said this happened, but they didn't show how bad it was. I had to learn how bad things were outside of school. Yeah, Lauren, you had to learn. And some people aren't busy like you learning about things. Tasha and I talked about this all the time about how could you briefly just explain the whole textbook issue and how certain things just didn't exist in textbooks and how they're rewriting textbook history and all that. You know so much more about this. You don't know about textbooks and how schools will teach you. Here, just come talk for a second. Oh, Tasha rolled her eyes. It's an important convo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Tasha Marie Courtney.
How is it that you managed to rope me in to this stuff every day? Every day, I just want to come home and eat a snack.
All right, Tasha wants to eat a snack, so just let her talk for a second about the fact, because the main thing people are saying is, look, the information's out there if people want to find it. And my point is, not if you don't know what you're looking for. If you don't know you're on a deserted island, you're not waving for that ship. So when we've talked about this in the past, you being from a town in Kentucky that deals with the Confederate flag, this and that, the information in textbooks will leave out things it doesn't want to teach you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, historically, textbooks have been written by the majority, not the minority, and we like to whitewash our mistakes as a nation, right? Now, education companies are making a point, especially after last year, Black Lives Matter. A lot of companies kind of had to have a reckoning and decide, well, how are we going to improve? How are we going to make changes? Because obviously this is a huge problem in our country, and we've got to individually take steps to remedy it. And so now they're making sure that they're having like a more inclusive view, that they're telling the truth, that we're not whitewashing
But not
over our
everywhere.
mistakes.
There's got to be counties where they're dusting off those old textbooks.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I
so-
guess if you don't have the funds for new textbooks, you're still operating on old textbooks. But yeah, old textbooks tell the story of states' rights when they talk about the Civil War.
So we look at this, right, and we look at a photo from an old South formal, and people have mentioned in the comments that there were PR campaigns to make the old South seem like a nostalgia, like Dukes of Hazzard's Confederate flag, not an insurgency like traitorship. And that still exists because we see the Confederate flag making its way into the State House.
What's that one really good movie with Reese Witherspoon?
Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah.
I don't know anything
They're
about
doing.
it.
They do like a reenactment. Her dad's like a reenactment guy
Oh, really?
for the Civil War.
So he has to lose every time?
I think so. Yeah.
If I was, listen, I'm competitive. If I'm doing a Civil War reenactment, I might slip one in and win that thing. I don't know. I might throw a little alternative.
But yeah, I think there has been a nostalgia attached.
You said anal nostalgia.
A nostalgia attached to this idea of the old South, antebellum South, the Confederacy, and it hasn't been until fairly recently that people started to realize like, maybe this isn't right.
Abby is our resident lawyer. If we need any legal issues, Abby, I don't know if you've watched that part of the 10-hour live stream, but Abby said, I grew up in South Carolina and was taught that the Civil War was purely about state rights and that slavery was a red herring. Absolutely. And this is coming from a very educated Abby Thomason, who everybody loves. Abby got so many compliments from the video.
Good.
Everyone's like, you hit them with those dimples and then you deliver the facts. You're the best. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to come to this page more. Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, I mean, coming from Rhode Island, I have such an indifferent, Tasha knows this. My education was garbage. I don't know colors. I didn't even mean that in that kind of. I don't know literally how to mix primary colors or
to make secondary
colors. I don't know anything about anything. I'm barely alive here, and so I don't know about any of this. But I had no opinion about it. So it's fascinating to learn this as an adult, that everyone learns something different depending on what textbooks you cracked open, and with the open
and
age
your
of the
teachers
and your teachers,
county, like all of that's trickled down, right? The superintendent of your county is going to be in charge of setting the. Oh, nice sweater. Thank you.
Abby's complimenting Tasha's sweater here.
But, it's like within the...
Do you want to promote your Poshmark while we're here?
Within the school district, the board and the superintendent are going to be in charge of what the curriculum is. And, so it's all very localized and regional. And if the status quo, of states' rights is what those people want to teach, then individual teachers really don't even have that much freedom.
So Abby said that I knew burnt sienna this morning because I was commenting on Tasha's outfit. And I told her I only know colors that existed in my 64 count Crayola crayons until I left them on my mom's dashboard in her Toyota her Ford Taurus, and they all melted together into one giant mustard color. But yeah, very interesting stuff. And it just goes to show, guys, I mean, I think Abby's our case study here. She's a very smart, intelligent third-year law student, and she was taught one thing, and when you're 15, what the hell are you supposed to know? So the question still remains, are we gonna, and again, I've read the comments from people, people of color. Some people have said, look, you don't have the right to apologize for something because you didn't know it. And I go, well, look, I understand that ignorance isn't an excuse from the law, but are we gonna have compassion about this and know what we know now? I mean, Rachel had posted like a pro Black Lives Matter thing before she got on the show. So maybe she does have guilt for the way she acted in her past. But if we're going to prosecute everyone for being a part of a problematic friend group, we're going to be pretty busy, okay? We're going to be pretty busy. So, is that all we have about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I understand both perspectives. Like, for people of color, they're tired of having to look past things that are... Growing up in Georgia, I'm not taught history.
Read it to the audience. She's reading it to herself.
Growing up in Georgia, we are not taught history in school that anywhere matches real history. Everyone is ignorant about something, and we should all be given space and an opportunity to grow. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one of those things like we've got to allow people the space to grow and learn. But on the other side of that coin, I can understand how people of color feel like they have been very patient. And so I think it's important for us to like hold ourselves to a higher standard and do some work ourselves. But like you said, not everybody's going to be there yet.
When people get put on the
but if they're
defensive,
but if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to admit mistakes, if they're willing to do better in the future, then I think that should count for something.
I agree. I think to most people, public shaming isn't going to get them to get to where you want them to go. So if the goal is unity, understanding, and overcoming ignorance, I don't think blasting people for TikToks from when they were 16 or 20. At this point, I don't know the age difference between 16 and 21. If you don't know what you don't know, you don't know it. And I don't think.
And your brain's still not fully developed till 25.
Yeah, and like someone mentioned, she went on the show to date a black guy. So, and that doesn't mean you can't be racist. That doesn't mean that. But we're talking about ignorance.
Because everyone has like that internalized sort of racism. I think if you grow up in the United States, anything that's different from your norm, you have internalized biases.
I was probably homophobic to an extent growing up with a stepdad who's, loved the guy. Could, watch if two guys kissed on a TV show, he'd be like, ah! He'd be like, ew. He would literally say that. It's like, look, I don't think he's got anything against gay guys. I think it's a product of him growing up with a military father from World War II. Like, we forget how far we've come as a society, that even a few years ago, people like Lady Antebellum and the Dixie Chicks are kind of like where they're at now. And it's like, I just think, while it's good to have the conversation, let's not put pressure on Matt to explain why he fell in love with somebody versus what would happen in a normal world when they weren't in the spotlight. You would just understand, oh, that's where they are now. I don't know. Abby said that we're her tribe now. And just so you know, Abby, I might need some help in the courtroom disputing a license plate ticket. So I could use, I'm kidding. But Tasha's going to come with me to the DMV tomorrow.
Absolutely not.
Okay, she's busy. Are you working tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Okay, lucky, because I'll be there at the Hollywood DMV. All right, well, you don't have to stick around if you don't want to. I think you're enjoying it now. I got Tasha riled up.
No, I'm not. I'm hot, and I need a nap, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry.
That's a lot, folks. All right. Thank you, Tasha Marie. Tasha has a Poshmark. How can people find your Poshmark? She's basically giving away very expensive clothes. What's something you're selling on the cheap? She's got like $100, $200-$300 things she's selling for cheap. So what's your Poshmark? Tasha_Courtney. If anyone wants, we're moving, so she's getting rid of a lot of clothes here. The Deja Vu said the percentage of black people is ridiculously low in Canada compared to the South and the rest of the country. Do you mean Canada or California? I don't know what you mean there. Sarah said, I'm from Norway. Some people here, they don't understand how problematic blackface is if they don't know much about U.S. history. It's so frustrating. Well, yeah, it is frustrating, but, I couldn't imagine knowing anything about Norwegian history. Can you imagine if something's like super racist in Norwegian history and I'm like, I don't know. We don't even know our own problems half the time. I'm trying to read things here and move through it. Not everyone has to be a lesson. Not everything has to be a lesson. As someone said earlier in the comments, her friends were defensive of her behavior. Yeah. All right, Abby's helping me get my ticket dismissed. You heard it here. I'm going to bring you along in my iPad. I'll just Skype you in. Someone said, I've been here for 5 minutes and can see how much sympathy she's been given. If you don't have by the way, before I finish reading your comment, you don't get to come in for 5 minutes and make any assumptions as to what we've been talking about for the last 48 minutes, okay? Part of the problem here. And I'm not saying you're the problem. I'm just saying with these issues, it's important to have long-form conversation. Someone says if you don't have much sympathy, I've been here for 5 minutes and can see how much sympathy she's being given. If you don't have the capacity to empathize with black people who have been traumatized by white girls like her, please don't discuss. Again, like I said, it's a conversation that started 48 minutes ago, and it's complicated. It's something that hasn't been solved for generations. Nyla Powell, here, listen to this, Tasha. Nyla Powell says, as a person of color, I feel like more conversations like this should happen. I don't blame Rachel for her past because of her environment, but I hope she acknowledges her past and educates herself. Exactly. And I fear that with the amount of hate she's been getting, it'll make her have, with her back against the wall. My dog's the most lovable dog in the world. You get his back against the wall, he's come after you. remember the first time Boone tried to bite me. It was the cutest thing because he's the cutest dog ever. And he's like, and I'm like, oh, I just want to pet you now. You're trying to bite me and I just want to snuggle with you. So anyway, I do appreciate everyone's input with all this. I am going to try to move on because it is complicated, and I am okay having this conversation. I think it's something everyone should have. Of course, there's been times when I've been there to listen, but right now this is, for the most part, a solo live stream where I'm talking to you guys, but I've thought very long and hard about it, and eventually I'm going to have to come up with a very concise video about this because I want to get it right, and I understand people will jump to their conclusions, like our friend, respectfully, that came in here thinking that we're just apologizing for Rachel, and that's not the case. Shay said, love getting Tasha's take on this since she grew up in Kentucky. Tasha's the best. You don't want to mess with Tasha, folks. Does anyone know why that picture of Rachel is important? I think we covered that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Are we good? I think we got everything there. Let me know. Please feel free. Other than very specific trolls, I've never kicked anyone out of the chat. I appreciate everyone's opinion. All I ask, B Bean says, thank you, Dave, for talking about this. All I ask is that we don't live in fear of having tough conversations. I'd rather be ignorant and find out than be quiet and think I'm right. And that's part of the problem with everyone on top of each other's backs. Dave, Lisa Reed needs a lawyer. Lisa Reed, did I miss something? I'm having a real hard time keeping up. Lisa says, never use my professional movers in Los Angeles, guys. Pro tip. Oh, no, Lisa, I'm my own moving company. I got the U-Haul. I'm ready to go. If anyone's in Los Angeles and wants to help us move a box, let me know. I think I got it covered. Hopefully my U-Haul has license plates when I need it. Wait, Lisa said she got scammed by a moving company and they won't move my furniture to Colorado. It's all still in Los Angeles. So, did you lose all of your furniture? That sounds horrible. Layan says, I could see Tyler falling for Kit's money and status. I'm going to play a couple voicemails. If anyone wants to call in, now's your chance. As you guys heard earlier, I got to go to the supermarket and get Tasha fed. So let me just make sure I am connected to the Bluetooth over here. And I appreciate all of your calls and everyone who's donated and all that jazz. You guys have been solid. Lisa said they're being sued by tons of other people for not delivering their furniture. That's insane. That's insane. Scar says you saw the spoilers and know who wins, but you're a good Samaritan and you won't say it, right? No, I mean, obviously there's a lot of rumors about Rachel, but nothing's confirmed as far as I know. Nothing's confirmed. That's not a spoiler to say that. I know who I want to win. I say win. Well, actually, I don't know who I want. I don't know. In the end, I want them to be happy. If they end up with someone great, if they don't, fine. Who cares? We're all the consumers, folks. If he doesn't end up with someone, he's going to be just fine. They're going to be fine. Everyone's going to be fine. All right, let's get to this Google voicemail. All right, here we go. We have a couple here. Let's see who this is. Got to screen these first. I think this is Leah. Let's see. Leah called in advance, so she has no idea what we talked about, but let's see what Leah had to say.
Hi there, Dave. Hi, Tasha. Hi to you
Tasha, Leah
all
says
out
hi.
there. Leah here. I'm not going to be with you live tonight, and I kind of feel like I'm a kid missing family dinner. Sorry, cuz. So I'm not avoiding my kids this time. In fact, you may hear them in the background now. I am avoiding washing my hair. All my ladies out there, I'm sure you get it. It's hair washing day and, my hair mask, and I don't feel like washing my hair.
Tasha
But
laughed
I
at
am
that.
curious to know if you guys think Matt will leave the show engaged.
No.
In a relationship, single.
I said this all
What do
along.
you
I don't
think?
think so.
I
don't
hope
think
you
he gets
guys have a
engaged.
great night, and I'll catch you on the replay.
I'll tell you this. Thank you so much. Leah calling from Michigan. Good luck with that hair washing you got to go do. Get your man to do it. Pop an edible. Wait for it to kick in and let your man wash your hair. You're getting a little, whatever. Just some advice. Put him on the line. Stefan, what's your guy's name? Stefan? I got a memory. I think while he looks like very agreeable on the show, I don't see Matt James being forced into anything. I saw Dale Moss being forced. You guys remember like Chris Harrison was like, "Come on, Dale, you're gonna get married. Come on, Dale, you're gonna propose. You love her, right? You're gonna propose." And Dale's like, "I guess I'm gonna propose." I don't see Matt James doing that. I don't see him. No spoilers in the comments, please. You can leave your opinions, but we're a spoil free. Oz says, no, you don't think he's going to get engaged. Jen's late to the party. No worries, Jen. Just solved racial relations in the U.S. You didn't miss much. All right, here we go. Susan's calling in, one of our favorites. We all love Susan. She's everybody's mom. Let's talk to Susan here.
Hi, this is Susan in Washington State. I just want to jump in. I went to college at a very traditional land-grant university in Southwest Virginia, and everything was steeped in tradition. But I also lived in Louisiana for 5 years, where there were plantations all over the place, tours, corporations had their parties there. But what I want to say is the whole plantation, the antebellum it's for them, it's just romanticized culture. It's just part of their lives is sweet tea.
I have to pause this. She said it's part of their lives like sweet tea. I couldn't agree more with you. We're not apologizing for it. We're just speaking the truth.
Yeah, I would say that, it's about the dresses, as other people said. It's about the food. They're very big on manners and politeness. So it's just a way of life for them. They're not thinking about the history. And I would say when it comes to racism, that goes down to the individual. Anyway, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much there, Susan, calling in. Appreciate you. As always, very smart, very well articulated. Susan lived, again, I could get this wrong. She said she lived in Louisiana for 5 years, and there was plantation tours all over the place. It was very much steeped into the culture. Again, we're not apologizing for it. We're just saying, let's not pretend, you know what I mean? Some people, we just pretend like this world didn't exist. Well, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing to pretend that this world didn't exist, even if it's still happening in certain counties. Oh, well, we have the internet. Everyone should know. Have you been on the internet before? My Facebook is nothing but Bachelor conspiracy theories. Tasha's Facebook is nothing but, detox teas or whatever the hell. Everyone's different. While the internet is an open source, the algorithms pull us in different directions based on what they think we want to know. So it's not like everyone's just getting fair information out there. There really is a war on information in this country. I think they should do a good job of trying to change the way the algorithm works so that people are exposed to different thoughts and ideologies. I also think it would be good to have a PSA that is bipartisan, that is a multi-million-dollar campaign to educate everyone on media literacy. I think that's very important. I think that's very important for all sides to understand. Are they being sold on fear? Are they learning something? Does this smell like propaganda? Very important that we learn how to operate. Facebook could do it. They could do it tomorrow. They could say, in order to sign into your Facebook account, you have to complete this 10-question quiz. Well, if you want to know what the Joneses are doing next door, you're going to complete the quiz. Reckless that we're not doing this. Oz says, internet is a minefield. Great way to put it, Oz. Oz, that's offensive to minefields. No, I'm just kidding. Caitlin says, I think we understand why people are ignorant. I think there's a lot of emphasis on explaining why people are ignorant and not enough on what accountability looks like. So what you're saying is, well, here, like, ignorant is kind of not having the facts, right? That's what, if you're ignorant, you don't have the facts right. So we're going to be accountable for people that don't know that they're doing something wrong? I understand what you're saying, but I think... Katie says, what's your favorite season of The Bachelor? The latest one. I get excited about it, and then as soon as it's over, I just forget about all of it. Tuesday night, I got a late night voicemail. So let's listen to this, because this was after I recorded. So this is going to be off topic.
Bachelor Nation.
Wait, this is from Oz. Hold on. Oz, is this from Tuesday night, or did I play this already? Let's listen to this.
and I think Katie's going to be the star of Bachelor in Paradise. My sister from a different mister. So yeah, I think she's going to be the star on the beach. So I'm looking forward to that. And Bachelor in Paradise should have a lot of entertaining characters. They have 4 seasons to pick from. So enjoy the chat, everyone. Okay, bye.
Thank you very much, Oz. Katie's great. She'd be a great Bachelor. And then someone in the comments section had said, well, Michelle would be too. Look, there's plenty of people that would be great Bachelorettes. Katie, Michelle, maybe even some others that we haven't thought about from previous seasons, this and that. I hope you know that it's a difficult conversation that we're having, and it's also tough to intertwine different comments. So I'm trying my best, guys. I hope you appreciate that. I'm going to get out of here in a few minutes, but the general consensus seems to be that when you know something's wrong, you should be held accountable for it, and I agree. Caitlin says accountability being how to acknowledge and rectify ignorance. Yeah, I think part of it is it's very hard for people to admit that they were wrong because it sort of takes you into a defensive place. So I think it's important to give people the space to overcome preconceived notions. Now, that might come off to somebody who wants to chime in, 61 minutes in to say, well, you're just making excuses for people that did wrong. Well, what's the option, folks? What's the option? Give me a better option. I'd be glad to listen. If I could just give everyone a $73 parking ticket for every time they did something wrong and they learned from that and it solved the everything, that'd be great. Ticket everybody, put that money back into the school system, whatever, fill some potholes. It'd be great. That ain't how it works, folks. Okay? By the way, I've made content all day long. I am so not tired, but a little fried. So I think after this, I'm going to put my headphones on, go shopping, and listen to some Sublime or something that doesn't involve heavy-weighted topics. I have a video coming out first thing in the morning about Matt James's interview with Lauren Zima, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I'll give you guys a random update of where we're at. Of course, 1 week ago today was the 10,000 subscriber live stream. I know she's off air, but I can see her in the distance. I want to, again, shout out my lovely fiance for understanding how special that moment was, for being a part of it, for jumping on the live stream before she went to work, in between jobs, and then after she went to work. Every time Tasha came home, I was like, please talk to people for a minute so I can go make a cheese pizza and pee. I only took one official 3-minute break, and I want to say that you guys were the people rooting on the marathon runners. You guys were amazing in rooting me on through the 10-hour journey. And just like someone can lay out and absorb the sun and actually receive energy from the sun, I feel like I received energy from all of your well wishes. I think I paid for it the following day, but I really appreciate you guys. And just know that appreciation won't be going anywhere. Truthfully, thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the donations. I'm going to show this again. I've kept this out here. I've missed a few people. Apparently, I've missed a few donations on here, but I'm sending out postcards. So if you left a donation and didn't send me your address yet, just slide it into my Instagram DMs, and I'll be getting out these postcards. But everyone from Jackie in Ireland sending £5. I think I called it a $5 pound. You know what I mean? £5 to everybody else. Wigs by Lily donated $100 the other day. And then when she learned of my $73 ticket, she donated another $73. That to me, folks, is A-okay in my book. If you can't do that, just simply enjoying the show, hitting the like button, and sharing with your friends really does mean a lot. I've gotten a lot of messages in the last few days of people that have shared the videos within their chat groups, their Bachelor-themed chat groups, and their other content. People have shared it on Twitter. I just appreciate that you're believing in what we've got going on. And as Abby and other people can share, the amount of positivity that we are giving each other, it really does elevate each other. Abby, was able to give us her time in that Skype interview and really share a lot of facts, but also come across so dang likable. And everyone was so happy to comment how good it was to hear from her. I can't imagine this, but I'm sure that's just a good feeling to have. So I'm glad to share that all with you guys. I really appreciate it. What's going on? Dave, you make lockdown bearable. Really, thank you. Well, thank you guys. Some people have asked me, will I continue to make videos once the world opens back up? And I'll just say this. It's very much in my plan to stay very connected with everyone. This channel has substituted what my other side hustles were. So I am very much grateful every single day that I can talk to you guys, make content that I like to make versus work for somebody else. So I thank you guys all for that. I will be sticking around, and I very much do enjoy the tough convos and the good times that we have. SA says, many black people don't have the privilege of rejecting negative comments or getting angry when called out. Yeah, I don't know who that's to. Did you say yes to me, Tasha? I don't know if she was talking to me, but I'm not angry. Are we talking to me or someone else? It's very hard to follow. Rachel said 20-minute live stream for 20,000. Yeah, I'll do a 20-minute live stream. The 10-hour was great, Katie said. Anybody in the chat watch Bachelorette New Zealand? No, I haven't. Someone said Tasha's a good sport, that she dealt with me. 2958 says, Dave, you have a unique voice and you make a difference. Thank you. Thank you so much. By the way, last chance, last call on the voicemail, 401-213-9828. Last call on the voicemail. Anyway, we've dipped some viewers, so I'll take that as a note to get out of here. Bethany says, Dave is the voice of reason. Well, I understand. To some people, you're going to say I'm apologizing to the wrong person, and others will say I'm the voice of reason, and someone might have a different opinion. But when it comes down to it, I'm willing to listen to other opinions. You know, I made a joke earlier today that Tasha's ring costs more than a country in Africa, and three people from African nations got upset. It could have all been the same person. It could have been a troll. I don't know. But, you know, we have to be able to differentiate from vitriol and what would you even call what I said? You know, calling it a joke would be too simple. It wasn't the funniest thing in the world, but it was a quip, I would say. And it's just funny. It's funny that some people lack the context and look forward to the ability to find something to complain about. And I just ask that we all consider the next time we're looking for something to complain about, to take Jordan Peterson's advice and clean up our own rooms. You know, make sure that your world is impeccable, because the best thing we can all do collectively is to take care of our inner circle of people around us and be good, high energy, uplifting people to those. You know, we can't solve some stranger's issues online. We can connect as much as we want, but you know, by giving a thumbs up to your guy bagging your groceries and some other essential workers is better than trying to you know, hate on somebody who hasn't you know, learned what their own ignorant values are. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. You know, it does become semi-frustrating that I can't necessarily get to every comment, but I hope you understand if you do have a comment or something in a point you want to make and I didn't get to it, chances are I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to moderate this show. Shay B sent $10 just now. Thank you so much, Shay B, for that donation. You've been so kind. I see your comments on the YouTube videos. You're so sweet. She said, Dave has kind of taken a beating for having an important convo. We all heart you and your channel. I don't know. Did I take a beating? I feel pretty good about it. Maybe I'm reading the wrong comments. Chatty says, OMG, I can't believe I caught the show live. This is great. Hey, Dave. You know what annoys me more than anything is when someone doesn't agree with me and they go, I'm not going to subscribe or support you anymore. And I have to go, look, and I think corporate media and advertisers could learn a lesson here. Rather than be worried about who doesn't support you, know that there are people that do. And I think everyone, what makes you guys so great is you understand that a lot of these conversations that have the same common denominator of being bachelor focused hit on deeper topics. And I've done stand up for a long time now, like a decade. And before that, other comedy. And I've always been interested in these sort of dynamics. But what's important is too often when someone is shamed or said, you're wrong, you know, apologize, or you have, you know, this or that, they just kind of cower. And there's no ego attached to this, but I would like to think that I can think something through, have an opinion, and stick with it. I'm not going to apologize to some random account in Nigeria because they don't look like the joke I made about the continent they live in. Tasha's looking at me like you're going to get in trouble. I go, you know what? Next, I'm going to make fun of the lazy Canadians. The Canadians, you're next. And then we'll hit on Brazil. You know what I mean? Because what I've learned is you apologize to one person, the next one wants it, and they see blood. It's kind of like what we saw in The Bachelor, When we see someone who the bullies want to hate on, you know, what do they do when they're done hating on Maryland? Then they start hating on Sarah. Then they're just going to pick them off one at a time. You guys get it. SA says, going to recommend that again because it's extremely relevant to this particular conversation on this channel. Okay, here we go. SA says, a commenter recommended White Fragility, the book. SA says, by the way, what does SA stand for? I'd love to say your name versus just SA. You don't have to share it if you don't want. Racism is not uplifting or positive. It never will be. This is tension. Of course, racism is not uplifting and positive. Apologist tones and conversations are different, and it feels like gaslighting to be summed up that way. I'm kind of reading your comments backwards, and it's very challenging to formulate an answer to them. But I hope you can respect that this conversation you don't have to have if it's triggering you in one way or another. This stems from the conversation about Rachel being at a formal that was, let's go back to it. That was Kappa Alpha, the Kappa Alpha Order, Old South Formal, an antebellum plantation themed ball. That's what this is all about. So I understand that it's very complicated to tackle greater issues than that, but again, without formulating like a deep opinion about this photo, I hope you understand my points of this convo. Not every convo is uplifting. We have to differentiate between the convo we're having right now and the 10-hour convo. There's about 7. This is part of what I like about live streaming, and I do have to go. I'm leaving in 5 minutes. Part of what I like about live streaming is that there are different convos that happen. It kind of works with my brainwaves. But also, let's not get it twisted. There's nothing uplifting about talking about Rachel's scenario. Okay? So what's important is to hear words, understand, I guess maybe giving benefit of the doubt within the stream that is not what we're talking about when we say uplifting. Someone anonymous. Oh, yeah, I'll call her someone anonymous. That's a good one. All right, leave a comment. If I miss something in the chat, help me out by leaving a comment in the actual video because the comments live on forever. So I can read that comment versus the chat. It just flies by. No, actually, what I'm saying is, and again, as I have several different convos, if this doesn't feel uplifting, I understand. This convo isn't uplifting. This convo is hard. Thank you, Bethany. I'm not apologizing. I appreciate you, Bethany. I got your comment before you retracted it. Gotcha. Just kidding. SA, I mean this. I truly appreciate you commenting. I don't ever want you to feel like you can't comment. I appreciate that. I know that in the next 5 minutes, we might not get to a similar ground, but I know that you're here because you do like respect that I'm not coming at this from a place of like trying to defend somebody. You know, we took this great call from Susan who lived in Louisiana. Commenters from Georgia. Geez, I sound Georgia on my mind. And we understand that people come from different places. They absorb different info. You know what I mean? And that's what this is about. We're not in court. We're not with Abby in court here, trying to catch everyone on words. You know, listen from the beginning to end. We're all here learning. I say that right to the camera like I'm a senator. Okay, so, it looks like we're getting somewhere, SA. Awareness is great, but it needs to be approached correctly to prevent misinformation and continuing the issue. Yes, what we're trying to do through conversations that are going to happen through Bachelor and other ways, what we're trying to do is prevent misinformation, prevent holding on to old ideologies. It's going to be, so much work has gone into Georgia alone, talking about the state of Georgia, to get people voting rights and all these things. So the state has come a long way. And when we talk about enlightenment can happen what's seemingly in an instant where you go, aha, I get it. And sometimes what's below that enlightenment is a lot of work. So people like Stacey Abrams and other people, her whole team, they had like a 10-year plan to flip Georgia. And when we say flip, I'm not saying, I think they'll tell you, they'll be the first ones to tell you, it's almost less important who you vote for, but more important that you vote. And that's power that you get just, as a God-given right as an American. Yeah, I got to go to the store, Katie. Let me see if I missed anything. Thank you, SA. And you know what? Come back, SA. Leave a comment. Leave a voicemail. Comment here. Email. Come back. Stay on top of it with me. Keep having this conversation. My one eye is going to be lazy from just looking at the chat here. But what I appreciate more than anything is when people give each other the benefit of the doubt. I could tell right away somebody was trying to say, well, you're saying that, no. We're not doing that. That's why we do conversations, because that's what you get when you're on Facebook comments. That's what you get when you're, having a Twitter war. We're not doing that. So we nip that in the bud. We have conversations. I listen to you guys. And I know you guys listening to me because you're sticking around. Just give me a second while I read this. Just chill out for a second. Why are you telling me to chill? Chill out. All right. I think we got everybody. Thank you, Julie, Marion, Layan, SA, Ashley, everyone. You've all been fantastic. Lauren, we just finished solving a Rubik's Cube. We were collectively solving the Rubik's Cube of life. Now, we have a lot of work to do, folks. That's the benefit that we get from the show like The Bachelor is we get to expose issues that otherwise go unchecked, I would say. Is that a way to say it? Issues that are brought to people's front door that otherwise, just I wouldn't have known any of this about Georgia if it wasn't for the show. So I hope the show and I hope the conversations happen. I know people will get and I'll tell you what, there is totally a scenario in which I don't want to have this talk. Absolutely. And you might say, well, that's a privilege you have. But I'm just telling you, that's a scenario, right? But I'm glad we're talking about it. I didn't get to anything we were going to talk about over here. Tyler returns. Tyler's going to return. Heather's going to arrive. Heather's going to get sent home. I hit 13,000. Punked preview. That was going to be the thing where Matt James didn't get to any of this. That's all right. Punk preview is when Matt James and I believe Katie go on a date together, and they are going to punk Tyler. Did I say Tyler James? Matt James. I don't know what I said. Tasha and I had a 7 a.m. audition today, and we've worked all day, and I can tell we need a night to chill. So I hope you guys chill. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I will be back Monday for the live stream, 10 p.m., and leave a comment. Follow my Instagram. If you want to see what the DMV is like tomorrow, I'll be on Instagram over there. Jess says, I love this group sincerely, and Jess, I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. I couldn't have started this live stream last year. I didn't have the following. I didn't have the people that were as kind, supportive, donating, and all that. You guys have been great. Jessica says, before you go, Sunday we are not friends. Go Chiefs. Look, I wish the Chiefs well, but I wish Tom Brady a little bit more. Julie says, Tash is hangry. Have a good night, Oz. Yeah, we've got more content. I've got something coming out. I think I'll put it out 6 a.m. Pacific time. I'll get it out early for you guys if you want it. That's me analyzing the Matt James interview with Lauren Zima. I've already recorded it. So anyhow, folks, that'll do it for me. You guys have an excellent. I'll stick around for 2 seconds to read some comments. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Everyone stay kind out there. Call your mom. Tell her you love her. And I'll see everyone later. Bye, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Lion said she can't find Tasha's Poshmark. Tasha_Courtney. Go to Tasha's Instagram at Tasha Courtney, and you can. Do you have a link to it on your Instagram? If you go to Tasha's Instagram and send her a DM, she'll send you her Poshmark. Abby says, I deserve Tom Brady and he deserves me. That would be. I've had dreams about Tom Brady and I being friends. Heather says, I want him to lose because he left us. Well, look, I mean, he had to leave. The Patriots were starting to suck, so he had to get out. You sure did, Jen. We appreciate you. Leave a comment. Julie thinks the Chiefs are going to win this one. Not if Tom Brady, whoever has the ball last is going to win that game, and Tom Brady doesn't give it up that easily. Leanne. Sorry, Leanne. Oh, what a beautiful name you have. Thanks, Marion. Appreciate you stopping by. Make sure I didn't miss any voicemails. I think I got all the voicemails. Thanks, Susan, for calling in. Always good to hear from you, Oz. Thank you for being the sheriff of the comments. And Leah. Leah's not here live, but hopefully Leah's getting a nice shampoo in.